Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new season of the Purposeful Life Show with your host, Adrian Starks. I'm excited to share some new updates of the show with you, starting with a new look, sound, and energy, as well as a variety of guests coming aboard with intriguing topics of conversation. I hope you enjoy the new level of energy that will be brought to the show. Thank you for all of your support since the very beginning in 2019. Wow, it's been 3 years already? Because of you, the Purposeful Life Show is now in the top 5% of all podcasts globally, and we aim to get it into the top 1%. Continue listening to the show and share it with others. You can also now listen to the show on my Facebook page at Adrian Starks, where you can comment in real time and communicate with me about your aha moments. Thank you again for all of your support, and let's make this one hell of a year and be purposeful about doing that. Wishing you all much love and success. Hi, my name is Adrian Starks, and welcome to the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up Podcast. This podcast is for the courageous creators wanting to create a life of meaning, adventure, and fulfillment, all while helping to make the world a better place. I'm happy you're here, and if you're new to our show, make sure to give us that 5-star rating and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Also, connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Champion Up. It is always that one idea that could be your breakthrough. It's time to step into your courage and believe the champion in you. Well, welcome back, everyone, to the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up Podcast. I am your host, and my name is Adrian Starks, and we're excited to have you back for another amazing episode. Make sure to go to the App Store, type in the word Champion Up to get that free Champion Up app for download. Also, give us that 5-star rating and subscribe to the show so that we can have more amazing content coming to you weekly. Today's show is all about saying yes to life, and ooh, do I like that. Joining us today on an all-new edition of the Champion Up Podcast, the Purposeful Life Show to share the message of saying yes to life, is Joy Resor. And Joy is absolutely a joy to talk with today, and I'm excited to share a little bit of her story. Joy is a spiritual counselor, children's author, and joy bringer who inspires love, peace, and joy in the path of those she encounters every day. Joy lives in North Carolina, where she hula hoops in sunbeams, writes books that inspire folks to deeper life of love, and shares adventures with her partner, Michael. Joy's inner child will share laughter with you at any moment. And I'm excited to share this laughter with Joy as well today. Joy, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Adrian. It's great to be here.
Well, it is a joy to have you here today. And I'm going to keep saying that word because I think we need it all in our life. And we're excited to really share your story and what you are bringing to this planet with helping people understand about saying yes to life. Joy, can you share a little bit with our audience today about what you do?
Thank you. Sure. I bring love, peace, and joy in every aspect of my life. I serve clients in spiritual direction. That is what I'm certified in. I have an ability to bring the vibration in any room up because I am a high vibrational individual. Even though I'm an introvert, but when I am with people, I light up, and I am having so much fun doing many more interviews than I ever thought. I mean, I never thought my life would be this. And I hear all the time how my books have inspired people. And so I show up in events too, spiritual conventions and different things.
Okay, great. And so speaking of books, you have a book called Designed to Shine, Read Aloud Rhymes for Any Sized Heart. And that is absolutely an encouraging book. What inspired you, Joy, to want to do this kind of work with bringing this light into people's lives?
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, it's that my joy, I was named Joy, but my joy was squashed in my family. And I tucked inward. I wrote poetry. I went and sat on a rock outside and communicated with the God of my understanding. And I believed that my life someday would be much better. So lo and behold, when I was in my 30s, I was married. I was working on healing wounds from my childhood. I was a stay-at-home mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I started writing in my journal a daily prayer to become the joy I am created to be.
Ooh, to
I,
become the joy you're created to be. I
yeah,
like that.
thank you. And I never knew the power in my own journaling, but I watched my life just change and change, and me living into so many synchronicities of being led to the right books, the right healer, the right class, so that I could continue becoming a better version of who I am. And lo and behold, these 3 books that have come through me, I never tried to write them, Adrian.
Hmm.
I believe that I have become so clear in my beingness. I have beautiful spiritual practices in the morning and at night, and that I am a channel for what divinity wants to bring into the world through me. And this book, I'm not surprised that it came in rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so grateful that I've had so many people say to me, I was hesitant to look at this book because I don't really like rhyme. And I thought it might be sing-songy or something else that would bother me.
Mm-hmm.
But Joy, these rhymes are beautiful and delightful and meaningful.
Yes. Wonderful rhymes, And so
Excuse
for
me.
you saying yes to yourself, and you mentioned before about your morning and evening spiritual routines, which I think is very important for us to have routines in our life to pay attention to ourselves. But when you wrote this book, Designed to Shine, which is a poetical book for our audience listening, you must get this book. It's basically the alphabet A to Z. And within this alphabet, each letter is formulated in the style of a poem that brings inspiration, which is so soothing to the mind and to the heart. Thank you for that, Joy. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
But this fascinating and poetical book that you wrote, you obviously said yes to it because it's what you wanted to do. Do you feel that by saying yes to what really matters to us in our hearts, that is a courageous act and part of us saying yes to life?
Oh, I do. And you just gave me goosebumps and you gave me the reminder that years ago, I laid on the ground to surrender my life to divinity.
Mm,
And that is it took courage because my ego that I still had left in me did not want me to do it. My ego was in fear that I would be wiped out of off the planet.
mm-hmm.
My ego is fear. I think a lot of it's comparison and fear and judgment. And,
I agree with you.
yeah. And so me surrendering to the God of my understanding, it has completely changed my life in the most beautiful ways. And I even said to my partner on the phone this morning, I said, I can't believe it because yes, those who might look up my website, I also put in the world beautiful batik fabric items that have positive words on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was led to advertise for a new seamstress. It's been really months and months and maybe longer that my current seamstress really wasn't saying yes to me, and kind of just saying, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. And I finally had a conversation and said, what if I reach out for another seamstress? And my seamstress said, please do. I do not need to be the only one sewing for you. And I welcome you to do that. And the first woman who answered my ad is so excited to sew for me. And she's such an expert seamstress that she's even going to sew things for an event I am in this coming weekend.
What an amazing, exchange of events going on there. I just love this story that you're telling me. And you mentioned before, I want to go back to this about the ego being that fear part of you. But why do you think many people avoid saying yes to life?
Oh, wow. I think, Adrian, there are a million reasons. And all the personal ones why I didn't is I was so covered over with shame and hiding and perfectionism. And there were years I wasn't even in my body. I was living from the neck up. There was a time I received a direct, what's the word? Not an order, but maybe an order, like, don't go. I was getting on the highway and I heard, don't go.
Hmm.
Now, these days I would turn around. I am grounded in my body. I believe in the voices that I hear, that they are for my good.
Hmm.
But that back then I wasn't grounded in my body. I was in my perfectionism, and I chalked that up to fear, that it was some voice in me that didn't want me to drive to downtown Cleveland, Ohio. But there's this whole metaphor for what happened, because here I am, a woman named Joy, who was going to interview a woman named Faith.
Oh,
And
interesting.
yes, and I heard, don't go. And I didn't believe that it was a good warning. And I prayed for protection, and I went. One or two blocks before the church where I was meeting Faith, my brain registered horror, that because the people waiting at the red light to my right as I approached the green light had a look of horror on their faces. It's because the next split second, my car was sent through the green light.
Mm.
A man was having a seizure behind me. He was hitting parked cars. And as I was approaching the green light, the people at the red light were watching this unfolding. So they saw that he was going to crash into me, and he sent me through a green light on a one-way street. So I needed to be here. I was saved. I had neck and back soft tissue injuries that I held in my body for 9 years, because I had been a doctor's daughter. The concept of chiropractic was nowhere in me. And if someone had said to me, go to see a chiropractor, then the memory would have come up that is a bad thing.
Yeah,
Because
it is. I mean, and you mentioned too about, making decisions from the neck up. And I totally get that. And that really gave me a visual about us not working from the heart. What are just a couple of examples of some steps our audience can have today to start saying yes to their life?
oh goodness. Yes. to say yes to our lives, what I recommend is giving yourself some time.
Okay.
And write down everything you are doing
Okay.
and look at it. What are you doing that someone else can be doing?
Okay.
Where are you caretaking that is not this person you are to be caretaking? Like, I think that so many people's lives are overly full with commitments and responsibilities, but it's not all true responsibility. So many people are taking care of things that aren't theirs to do.
Yes, I agree with that. Taking that responsibility on for other things that are not your responsibility. I so
Right.
agree.
Yes. And when we get clear on what is ours to do, what is another's to do, when we get the clarity that we can speak for ourselves, and see, that's also, I've just journeyed through so much. There were so many years I couldn't even speak up for myself. And so I wasn't saying yes to my own life because I didn't have any voice at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it all kind of happened around the same time. It was after my divorce that I started living differently. I was able to live into forgiveness of the marriage failing, of my ex's part in it and my part in it. And I started doing so much body work, Adrian, where I got so grounded, and what had happened in all the years of living in fear and being a perfectionist is that my body was kind of tucked into itself and tight.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've done Rolfing and chiropractic and Pilates and stretching and so many things to open my body, open my heart. And I believe it is with an open heart that it's way easier to say yes to life.
Ooh, so living with an open heart, it's even easier to say yes to life. And speaking of yes, so we're going to go back to this fascinating book called Designed to Shine here. And on page 48, there is a poem, and it's with the letter Y, which is, guess what the word is, audience? Yes. And so the first few phrases here really captivated me. It says, "You may hear more no than yes as you flow. It's how some adults take lead as you grow." And I thought that was absolutely wonderful because we do hear the word no a lot in our lives. But Joy, how many times a day do you think that you say yes to life?
Oh my gosh. I have changed and changed and changed, and I am an adventurer now, Adrian and listeners, and I say so many more yeses, but at the same time, I am cautious of not saying so many yeses that I'm running like crazy, because I have learned of who I am, and I don't thrive when I'm doing too much. And I don't thrive when I put pressure on myself. I thrive with allowing, with space in my life, with a lot of peace in my life, with rest, with saying yes and accomplishing a lot is what I do. I say a lot of yeses. And I also, I think honoring ourselves is a huge topic.
I love that. Honoring ourselves is such a huge topic. And speaking of honoring ourselves, when we do hear that word no, I always see it as like, oh, maybe that's a sign from the universe, from the world telling us to go a different direction. Or maybe it's a sign saying, move on to the next opportunity. So what does the word no mean to you? And do you hear it often, being such a joy that you are in life?
Thank you. I don't hear the word no that often, but even when I do, I can receive it with such ease now. I do not take it personally, and I take it as what you named, Adrian. It's a sign that maybe I need to change direction. Maybe this isn't the right time for this thing. And I actually had a recent event where it was a phone call with a merchant who invited me in with my books and my batik wares in November. And then there she was in whatever month it was, March, saying, I don't think we want you anymore. And I listened and I said, wow, that's interesting. Thank you for letting me know. And we talked a little more. We talked more. And then when I named that I'm going to be on this local media and this local media and doing a book reading at this local bookstore, she's like, oh, well, maybe we can keep your things, because I'm probably going to do shout outs to her store if I am on local media. So she realized I could be an asset to her.
Of course she realized that.
Yeah. So, mostly my life is unbelievably beautiful. And I believe that it's because I am in service to divinity to bring love into this world, and that divinity desires more and more people who are awake and not overly committed to whatever and not wounded, that people that can say yes to bringing love onto this planet.
Ooh, people saying yes to bringing love on this planet. And that is something that I feel as a culture and society that we are misusing the word love and what it means and how to accept it. And more importantly, how to give it to the people in our lives and the world. And what you're saying is we got to say yes to love. So speaking of love, I know that the children are loving this book and this concept as you travel across the world and spread this joyful message.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. So what is your feeling about this as you spread this message more? How are the children feeling about this message? What are you receiving from them?
Oh gosh, thank you. Adrian, I'm receiving amazing attentiveness when I read these rhymes to children
Yes.
and smiles. But not only, it's beyond the children. I have reviews from 65-year-old people
Mm-hmm.
who say, I bought this one woman, she said, I bought this book for when children visit, but no one's visiting me, and I love getting it out. It makes me feel lighter. And this is what all my books, people have said to me, because I am an inspiration
You
through
are.
my words. Thank you. I believe that I came here to be named Joy, have my joy squashed, fight back to find my joy, and then bring it.
Oh, find your joy and bring it. You hear that, everyone? Bring your joy out here in the world. And speaking of this book, I'm quite a poetical person myself, and I love poetry from people such as Robert Frost to Maya Angelou, and the list goes on and on. So I must tell you that your book is now in my personal library in my poetry section. So for the audience that is listening, this book is for you. It's for your children. It's for anyone in your life that you feel can have a little bit more zest, a little bit more joy, and a little bit more encouragement, and to lighten that stress from their shoulders. And speaking of lightening stress from their shoulders, Joy, is there any way that our audience can get in contact with you to learn more about your journey, about where you're going to be speaking next, your next book's coming out? Is there any way they can contact you?
Certainly. Thank you. I do a decent job listing my events on my website. I realized today, I have more events I need to add. But that you could go to my website, https, joyonyourshoulders.com, and find, and also connect with me through there,
Okay.
or connect with me on Facebook on the Joy on Your Shoulders page.
Joy on your shoulders. You are just an extraordinary person. I'm smiling right now as we speak. I do a lot of smiling, but you've put a greater smile on my face today. So Joy, we're going to end here with a courageous creator question, which the guests love. And the question I have for you today is this: why should we say yes more to life? And what happens when we ignore this decision to say yes?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question, Adrian, especially for me, because I can see. I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
A couple years ago, I have these two grown, amazing sons, and one was serving in the Peace Corps in Namibia, Africa.
Mm.
I called him. We had this beautiful conversation, and this question arose in me. I said, "Would you like me to visit?" And the thing is, I'm so certain that years ago, I never would have asked the question.
Mm-hmm.
So that since I had become more of an adventurer in life, and that to me was experimenting, saying more yeses more often, leaning into new things more often to see if they resonate or not. But it led me to go to Africa and enjoy a photo safari with my older son. That was an amazing time that we shared together. So I just know that saying yes, it opens us to more experiences. It leads us to meet interesting people. It gives us more joy
Yes.
and more opportunities to love life. Like I am in awe, really, Adrian and listeners. Ever since I grounded in my body, I'm in awe at the beauty of life, at the beauty of our planet, and I mean, the beauty of meals. Like I'm so mindful now. I am present. I am so awake and having the adventure of a lifetime that I didn't ever know that I would be inspiring people through my books, but I was writing since I was a little girl, tucked into myself. um, yeah.
This is wonderful. And this is why you're a courageous creator and the reason why you are on this show, because you're bringing joy to the lives of a multitude of people across this wonderful and magnificent planet. The fact that your name is Joy really inspires me because it says this: we must be true to ourselves and understand what that truth is and act out that truth in the world. And you're acting out the truth of joy. And that is through your poetry, through your words of inspiration. And so for our audience listening today, I would encourage you to get this book, Designed to Shine, Read Aloud Rhymes for Any Sized Heart. And I'm going to go back to this phrase, any size heart. So no matter where you are in life, no matter what your age, what your background is, what your circumstances are, this book is for you. This book is for you to bring joy into your lives and let joy be on your shoulders. And Joy, I'm so excited that you are on this journey. And I would love to know, do you have any other things that are coming up, like another book that you're going to be releasing or anything of that sort down the road?
Thank you, Adrian. Yes, I am ever evolving and ever bringing new things into the world. And there is a second Designed to Shine Read Aloud Rhymes for Any Size Heart
Oh,
that will
yes.
be yes, it will be coming out later this year with 26 new enlivening rhymes.
Oh,
So where this one covers attention, balance, change, and 23 more topics, the second volume has a rhyme for amaze, believe, create. And I'm really excited about that next book also coming into the world to bless how it can bless.
to bless how it can bless. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Joy is a courageous creator. Thank you so much, Joy, for bringing us to Joy to be on this show today.
You are so welcome, Adrian. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're absolutely welcome. And to our audience today, think about this. How can you say yes more to life and to create the joy that you actually deserve? Until then, I encourage you all to be that courageous creator in your life. This is the Purposeful Life Show and the Champion Up Podcast with myself, Adrian Starks, and thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed our podcast today, don't forget to give us that 5-star rating and subscribe to the show so you don't miss out on the powerful life-changing content on future episodes. Also, make sure to go to championup.net for even more life-changing content. Until then, I encourage you to be the courageous creator in your life.